Yes, this video is real. No, the title is not clickbait. Today I'm going to be telling you guys a story on how I almost met Taylor Swift, and honestly could have maybe met Taylor Swift had I not almost been kidnapped. It's funny, but it's not. It's not funny. It's real. This is my life, okay? I've thought about telling this story a couple different times, but I'm gonna be so honest. Everything else aside, the only part of this whole story that actually gets me like upset and angry is the fact that I didn't get to meet Taylor Swift, and I maybe could have had all this nonsense not happen. And this is something I've had to deal with and come to terms over the last couple of years since, you know, the whole situation happened. And I still think I'm in denial, but I think I've come out of it enough to where I can tell the story and express my pain and my discomfort and my distraught over the fact that this is my reality. If you're new to my channel, this is definitely a very interesting first video to come across. While I do tell this story, I am going to be getting ready and doing my makeup because I have horrible ADHD and I can't just sit here and like just talk, so I need something to be doing. If you guys like this video format, then I definitely think you'll like my second channel because I do a lot of content like this, just more personal content where I sit down, get ready, do vlogs over there. I also have a Patreon, if you didn't know, where you guys can get exclusive content from me, as well as a chance to get shout outs like these down here. Thank you to everybody who's been over on the Patreon. Follow me on Instagram. Please. It's the least you could do for me after this horrible story that I'm about to tell. Anyway, with that being said, let's just get into it. Also, for anybody curious, I will have all of the products that I use in my routine every single day linked in the description if anybody is curious. Okay, cool. So our story begins on... I actually don't know the day. I should have done my research better, but our story begins in October of 2023. Now, I was actually visiting one of my friends in New Mexico at the time, and when I was out in New Mexico, I got an email from Spotify basically inviting me to the Taylor Swift Eras Tour movie premiere. Now, like I said, the story takes place in October of 2023, meaning it was peak Eras Tour season, and it had also just been announced that Taylor was going to have a movie that was going to be shown in theaters, and I was very excited. I already got my tickets. I was going to go to multiple showings. And then, like I said, I got this email from Spotify basically inviting me to the premiere of the Eras Tour movie. Also, for anybody curious on how I actually got this invitation, anybody who went to this premiere or got an invitation to this premiere was from Taylor's like top Spotify listeners. So I think they just took the data and saw who's listening to Taylor Swift the most on Spotify, like who her actual fans are, and they saw me and they sent me an invite, which, by the way, we need to start doing that for tickets, like for the next tour. Send some invitations out to the top listeners on like Spotify and Apple Music so we can stop this reseller epidemic. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. But I digress. I get this email. I am so unbelievably excited. I don't know if Taylor's gonna be there. The email is very simplistic. You know, they didn't tell us much information. They didn't even tell us where it was gonna be. All I knew was that it was gonna be in Los Angeles and that they would reveal the location, you know, closer to the actual day of the premiere. So anyway, it wasn't a guarantee that I was gonna go. It was just more so an invitation that if I wanted to go, I could sign up. And they also offered me a +1. So when I got this email, I immediately texted my best friend Sabrina and I was like, you need to take this day off of work. We need to go to this. Like, this is crazy. So I invited my friend. I had to fill out all this information about me and my +1. Like, I had to fill out all this information. But again, it wasn't guaranteed that I was gonna go. So I basically submitted it and just crossed my fingers. Please let me be invited. And a couple days later, I get back from New Mexico. I'm at work. I used to work at Target at the time. And I get an email saying that I have officially been invited to the Eras Tour film premiere. World stop. I remember I was literally working at the self-checkout at Target and I saw the notification and I flipped out because, like, what do you mean? Like, this is a crazy once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. I didn't know how I was gonna get there because, well, I still don't know how to drive, but especially then, like, I didn't know how to drive, nor did I have a car. And also at the time I was living in Southern California, but not in LA specifically. Like, I was living, I want to say like 45 minutes outside of LA. So I was like, I don't know how I'm gonna get there, but we're gonna figure it out because this is like a once-in-a-lifetime thing and I will be there. I don't know how yet, but I will be there. So fast forward a little bit, I want to say I got that email confirmation like a week or maybe a couple days before the actual premiere, and then it was the day of the premiere. Now again, I forget the exact day. I should have done my research beforehand, but it was sometime in October. I think it was October 13th or something. That actually would make sense. Somewhere around there, okay? It's the day of the premiere. I still don't know where the premiere is going to be held, which was making me think that Taylor was going to be there because I was like, well, if they're withholding the information of where the premiere is being held, it makes me think she's going to be there, which is why they haven't told us if she's going yet, because obviously if we knew she was going to be there and they had already told us where the location was, then a bunch of outsiders would know and it would turn into a whole thing. And that was a whole other thing too. With all of the emails, it was very like confidential. Like, it would literally be like, do not tell anybody about this. So I was like, maybe she's gonna be there, right? Like, it makes sense. It's also like, it's her premiere. But I also was like, I don't think I'm gonna see her. Like, she's definitely not gonna just be like walking around. I'm not gonna be able to meet her, see her or anything. But I was like, she probably is gonna be there. So anyway, it's the day of the premiere and I am very, very excited. I still don't know where it's gonna be. However, I did kind of find out early because the information got leaked, unfortunately, that the premiere was going to be held at the Grove in Los Angeles. Now, the information got leaked because for this premiere, they literally shut down the Grove. So obviously word got out very fast that, you know, something was happening at the Grove. You could put 2 and 2 together. They also like put out a red carpet and there were helicopters like observing from above, and there was all these like news publications posting about it that I was like, okay, I know where it's gonna be. I've been to the Grove many times. This is chill, cool, whatever. Now this is where things start to get bad, okay? So like I said, I still to this day, I'm working on it, okay? But at the time, especially, I did not know how to drive. And neither did my friend Sabrina, who was gonna be my +1 to the event. So our plan on how to get there was we were both going, oh my God, my blush. So our plan on how we were gonna get there is that we were both going to take the train. We were both gonna take the train and we were, oh my God. Oh jeez. Okay, it's fine. Anyway, we were both gonna take the train from both of our houses to Los Angeles. Now, just for a little bit of reference, Los Angeles is like here. I'm like an hour this way and my friend Sabrina is an hour the opposite way. So our plan was we were both gonna take the train from our house to Los Angeles, meet up at the LA train station, and then Uber from the train station to the Grove. Now, also for some context, the LA train station is in downtown Los Angeles and the Grove is more towards Hollywood. Now, obviously, if you're not from LA or if you've never been to LA, I think a lot of people think LA is just all one little section. So like downtown LA is here and then the Grove is over here. It's actually not that far away from each other, but again, if you know anything about Los Angeles, then you know it literally takes minimum 30 minutes to get anywhere in LA, so keep that in mind. Now, I don't remember exactly what time they told us to be there. I want to say it was like be there at like 6 p.m. or something, but I did want to get there early because, you know, I didn't want to be late. So I remember I did have work this day. I had like a half day, so I got off at, I don't know, 12:30 or something. I got off work, went home, got ready really quickly. I wore this black button up. I didn't know what to wear because I was like, I don't know what the vibe, the setting is. There also wasn't a dress code, but it was like a premiere, so I was like, I feel like I should wear something nice, but I literally didn't own anything nice. So I wore this like black button up I had with like a white t-shirt under. I think I wore black pants, my cowboy boots, and then I put on a bunch of friendship bracelets. I think I even glued like butterflies on my face. I was excited. Okay, I was like, this is gonna be the best night of my life. Oh boy. So after I finish getting ready, it is getting a little bit closer to when me and Sabrina are both gonna leave on our trains. Now, we had already booked these trains like ahead of time. I wanna say probably like a couple days before the actual event. However, like I said, me and Sabrina both cannot drive. So when both of us needed to get to the train station, we both had to take Ubers from our house. Both of us had to take Ubers from our house to the train station. Again, I forget what exactly time it was. I wanna say maybe 2 or 3 p.m. It's getting closer to when both of us have to leave for our trains. And I feel like both of us were on FaceTime when this happened. I might be making that up, but we probably were on FaceTime. She's like, okay, I'm gonna book my Uber to go to my train. And I was like, cool. We get off the phone. And then I wanna say like 5 or 10 minutes later, I get a text from her basically saying that no Uber is picking her up. And I was like, oh dear God. This is not the time. And so I'm not getting too stressed out about it. I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's busy right now. It is like 4 p.m. I think it was on like a Wednesday or something. So I was like, maybe people are getting off of work. I don't really know. And also just for reference too, me and Sabrina actually specifically more, we both use Ubers all of the time. And I say she uses Ubers more than I do because especially at the time, like she was taking Ubers to and from work. So she's very familiar with Uber. Like she knows when Ubers are available and when they're not available. And like nothing about this rose a red flag to her. So that's why she was so confused as to why no Uber was picking her up. But I wasn't getting too stressed out about it. Again, I was like, maybe it's just busy right now. I don't know, okay? Another 5-10 minutes go by and she's like, dude, no one's picking me up. And that's when I start to panic a little bit because I was like, oh my God, what the hell are we gonna do? So then I decide to try to book an Uber for her on my phone. So I get on my phone, I set in her location from her house to the train station by her. I'm trying to book her an Uber. I remember I had to like book one and then cancel one because it wasn't gonna be there fast enough and it was a whole thing. And long story short, nobody was gonna come in time. Like it simply wasn't gonna happen. And so we had to accept the fact that she was going to miss her train, which obviously was incredibly annoying, disappointing, frustrating, the whole thing. But she was like, you know what? I'm just gonna book an Uber from my house to the Grove. It's gonna be super expensive. It's gonna be like an hour and a half, but this is obviously like a once in a lifetime thing. I was obviously upset that that happened and that she had to do that, but I would have done the same thing. Yeah, I would have. And so I was like, you know what? That's totally fine. I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna get to my train. It's around time for me to leave anyways. I'm gonna leave, go to my train, and then when I get to my station, I'll just have to Uber from the station to the Grove by myself. It's totally fine. I'm also like done with my makeup routine at this point. It's about time for me to leave so that I can make it to my train. Thankfully, my dad was already home from work, so I was able to ask him, hey, could you take me to the train station? He agreed, and we were on our merry way. Or so I thought. Again, in retrospect, hindsight 2020, we should have planned this better. Like, we should have literally left like 2-3 hours earlier. I don't know what we were thinking, to be honest. Me and my dad get in the car, you know, we're driving to the train station. There's a lot of traffic. Again, it's like 4 o'clock, so like, duh, you know what I mean? But there's a lot of traffic. The closer we get to the train station, the more I start to realize, oh my god, I'm not gonna make my train. I remember my dad had the GPS on his phone, like sitting on his dash, what is it called? That part of your car? I don't know, but he had his phone, okay, he had the directions up, and I remember looking at the direction on his phone, and obviously, you know, when you have the directions up, it'll tell you about how far away you are, how many minutes until you arrive at your destination. I remember looking at it and seeing that we were like 20 minutes away, and my train was gonna leave in 10. So I start freaking out, and I also like, I don't really have the best relationship with my dad. Like, I don't really talk to my dad very much. So I wasn't gonna tell him, obviously, that I wasn't gonna make my train and that we essentially just drove out here for no reason. So I'm internally freaking out. I'm like texting Sabrina, dude, I'm not gonna make my train either. I don't know what the to do. This is so bad. Like, what the is going on? Anyway, we make it to the train station, and lo and behold, I did not make my train. So I start panicking, naturally. I'm also panicking because the train station is literally in the opposite direction. Like, I'm here, LA is over here, and the train station was like over here. So not only did I not make my train, but I'm also now farther from LA than I would have been if I would have just taken the Uber from my house. But I don't have time to be like panicking and freaking out about this. I have to go. Like, I literally have to go. So I immediately open the Uber app, I set my location for the train station, and I set my destination for the Grove. Now, was my Uber about, I don't know, over $100? Yes. But again, this is like a once in a lifetime thing. I was like, it's gonna be $100 there, and then I'm gonna have to Uber back, and it's gonna be $100 again, but I don't care. This is a once in a lifetime thing. Like, this will never happen again. And if I don't get to go to this, I will never live it down. So I book my Uber, I wait a little bit, somebody accepts it, thank God. I think they were like 5-ish minutes away, so I'm just standing at the train station by myself, literally like twiddling my thumbs. I think I have a video of me during this time where I was trying to film a little TikTok vlog, but this was obviously, things were already chaotic at this point, but you had no idea what was coming. You had no idea what was coming. So those 5 minutes pass by and my Uber arrives. Cool, good start. I get in my Uber and it is this older man, I want to say, who doesn't really speak English. Now, normally I would be like, don't care, I literally like, you just need to drive me. Like, that does not matter to me, but I want to highlight this in my story because this is a very crucial and pivotal part of the story. So I get into my Uber, I'm like, hey, nice to meet you, thank you for driving me. Again, he doesn't really speak English, but I can tell by his like mannerisms, he's greeting me back. He's like, hey. We pull out of the train station, we get onto the streets, we're about to be en route to Los Angeles, and then after, I'm not kidding, like 2 or 3 minutes, this man literally goes, Uber is not gonna pay me enough for how much this ride actually should cost, so I'm gonna cancel the ride right now and I need you to send me more money through Zelle. And I was like, never in my life, and I've taken a lot of Ubers, okay? Never in my life have I ever had anything like this happen to me before. He essentially was not even asking actually, he was literally verbatim telling me that I need to pay him more money because he thinks that the price that Uber set for how much this ride should be costing is not enough for him. Again, I was distraught. I didn't know what to say because at this point, like, I was already running late. I did not have time, nor am I like this type of person to just be like, you know what, actually pull over because this is ridiculous. I was too scared to say that, and I also did not have time to get out of this car, wait for another Uber to pick me up to then go to the Grove. Because again, at this point, it's like 4:30, almost I want to say 5 o'clock. It's rush hour. Like, I don't have time. I don't have time for this. And again, like, he doesn't really speak much English. So at first I was like, are you saying what I like think you're saying? Like, I'm really confused right now. And then he immediately cancels my Uber. If you've never been in an Uber before, then you need to take this as life advice. Never get in an Uber. Also, I forgot to mention, this man's car, nor did his profile picture or name match his Uber account. Again, if you've never used Uber before or you don't really know how Uber works, when you book a ride and somebody accepts it, you're able to see their profile, you're able to see their car, their license plate. That way you can actually look out for them when, you know, they arrive to pick you up. Nothing about this man's profile was matching anything. The car was different. The license plate was different. He did not look the same. I don't remember what he looked like in his profile, but it was not the same person that I saw when I entered this man's car. I actually can't believe I forgot this part, because now that I'm thinking back to it, I can't believe I forgot that part of the story, because I remembered vividly. I vividly remember when this man arrived, I didn't even bat an eye, because I was like, this is not the car that's showing up for my Uber. It's also not the license plate. So I was like, this obviously is not my Uber. But then I remember when I was sitting at the bench at the train station, this man like rolled his window down and was like, Aiden? And I was like, yeah, hey. But yeah, some life advice for anybody who's never taken an Uber before. If they cancel your Uber, you need to get the out of the car, because not only did this man cancel the Uber, which meant that he canceled my payment that I paid to him through the Uber app, but he also canceled the ride, meaning that there is now no proof that I was ever in this man's car. Again, this is like such a safety thing, because if God forbid something did happen to me when I was in this man's Uber, you need to be keeping the ride through the Uber app. That way there's literal documentation and evidence that you were in this person's car from point A to point B from this exact time period to this timestamp, and now that was just erased. So I start freaking out, because I'm like, he's literally about to kidnap me, or he's about to hold me at gunpoint and make me pay him, I don't know, $500 for this like Uber ride. So I didn't know what to do. I remember even hesitating to just like open the car door and jump out of the car, because I was like, what else am I supposed to do? I don't know. And while this is all going on, he literally is like driving with one hand with his back turned towards me, showing me his phone, being like, here's my Zelle, you need to send me. I don't even remember how much money it was. I want to say it was like $150 when the actual Uber price was 70. In hindsight, this is like actually so crazy. I can't believe I've never told this story before. But also something you should know about me is that I have horrible anxiety in general, but social anxiety specifically. So like there was no room for me to like fight back or argue with this man. I just sent him the money, because again, I was like, I need to be there. This can't be happening. Like I genuinely didn't know what to do at this point. So after I sent him the money, I remember I sent a text to my friends in like a group chat with them, basically being like, I need you guys to check my location and make sure that I end up at the Grove at the end of the night, because if something happens to me, it's because I'm in this Uber who just canceled my ride and made me pay him more money under the table, and I think that I actually am going to die. Like I actually was like, I'm being kidnapped right now. And to make matters worse, and I don't want people to take this the wrong way, but after I had sent this guy the money, he immediately picks up his phone, starts calling somebody, and then for the entire duration of the car ride, he is like yelling at this person on the other side of the phone. But again, he didn't really speak English very well. I think he was speaking like Arabic or something, but he was like screaming at this person, and I was like, this is so bad. Like this is actually the worst thing that's ever happened to me. I don't know what to do, and I hate to say it, but this is like psychosis. Like actually, literally the only thing I cared about was getting to this premiere. I didn't care about my safety. I didn't care about my well-being. I was like, I just need to be there. Like, please, 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 I'm begging you. From where I was living at the time to the Grove, it was about, I want to say like 45 or 50 minutes. But obviously, again, it's like rush hour. And I also had to take my Uber from the train station, which is like 20 minutes the other direction. So this Uber ended up being like an hour and a half ride. And after about 45, maybe 50 minutes, I started to go into psychosis. And I started thinking that the whole situation was so funny, because I actually at this point was like, I am going to get kidnapped. Like I kind of had to just accept it at this point, because nothing else was making sense to me. I was like, why would he have canceled the ride? Even if he wanted more money, like I could have just Zelled him 30, 40, 50 extra dollars if he really needed or felt like he deserved more money. But canceling the ride, and he's also been on the phone this entire time. Like I genuinely convinced myself that he was on the phone with some random dude telling him where to take me, and that I was gonna end up at a warehouse and die. Like I had fully convinced myself at this point. So obviously, you know, because I'm Gen Z, because I can't take anything seriously, I decided to make a little TikTok. This is actually like deranged. Like I don't know what's wrong with me. So yeah, I have a little TikTok of me like making fun of the situation, and I thought it was really funny, because what else was I supposed to do? You know what I mean? But anyway, as you can tell, I'm still sitting here. You know what I mean? I'm still good. I'm alive. I do remember though, after we had gotten off the freeway to the Grove, I was like, I need to just get out this car. Like I can't be in this car. I genuinely, like at this point, I still was fully convinced I was about to die or something was about to happen to me. It was bad. Like it was really, really bad. And so it did get to the point where I was like, I can't be in here anymore. I need to get out. Like actually, this is like concerning me. I think I'm about to get kidnapped or killed or something. So after we get off the freeway, I literally tell him, can you please please drop me off at this McDonald's because I think I said I was like hungry or something, and it was honestly like, it was obviously closer than the Grove, so like he wouldn't have to make as long of a trip. I was like, please, I'm really hungry. You can honestly just drop me off at the McDonald's and it's totally good. And I remember his response back, like he was very annoyed and angry at this, which in my head I was like, this won't upset him because obviously he won't have to drive as far, like the destination isn't as far, he can get me out of his car quicker. He already got his money. Okay, so it's not about the money, like please. But he was very annoyed with me. I could tell. He was like, ugh. Which the overthinking part of my brain is telling me like maybe he was annoyed that I did this because he was actually trying to kidnap me and I decided to get out of his car sooner, which then not let that happen. I don't know. I don't know. That is probably not what happened, but I delusional here. Yeah, then he drops me off at the McDonald's. I say thank you. I get inside. I remember being so panicked, and obviously if you've been in LA you probably know being in a random McDonald's at like 4 or 5 p.m. in Hollywood is like not the safest or the best idea in the world, but I was like, honestly anything to me personally feels safer than being in that car with that man. And honestly it all had to do with the fact that he canceled the Uber. Again, if he hadn't canceled the Uber and genuinely just felt like he deserved more money, which is kind of like entitled and whatever, but I would have done it. I mean, I paid him either way, so I guess whatever. I wouldn't have been freaked out if he hadn't canceled the Uber and wasn't being like weird about it. Because again, like he fully canceled any trace that I was even in the car with this man. What else am I supposed to think? You know what I mean? And also again, like car didn't match up, the license plate didn't match up, his profile, like nothing, everything about this was red flag after red flag after red flag. Literally, there are so many things in the Uber app that will tell you, do not get in a car with somebody if their license plate does not match up. They don't look like who they are in their profile. Get out of the car if they cancel your ride, or like call the police. Like, I don't know. I'm saying all of this because I understand that if you've never been in like a situation like this before, or you've never taken an Uber before, this might sound like a little bit dramatic, but I don't think it was. I think I was being totally fair. I made all my friends track me from point A to point B. I was like, if I don't make it there or something happens, or if my location shows me in the middle of the desert, like help, like SOS 911, we need help, okay? But anyway, we're nearing the end of the story. I make it to the McDonald's. I end up having to book another Uber because honestly, like it wasn't that far from the McDonald's to the Grove, but like I said, getting even a couple of miles in Los Angeles is gonna take you 30-45 minutes. That ended up being a whole other thing where I genuinely was like, I feel like I'm gonna miss the premiere at this point. And also Sabrina was having her whole own other issues, like it was just taking her such a long time to get there. I ended up getting there like 20 or 30 minutes before she did, and we both had kind of accepted at this point that, well, one, literally everything had gone wrong. We had accepted that, but we also had accepted that we kind of already missed everything, like whatever, you know what I mean? So much to the point where I was literally standing outside because obviously I couldn't go into the premiere yet because I had all the information and Sabrina was my +1, like I had to wait for her obviously. But I remember standing outside of the premiere and there was so much security. There was like a table to check in at, and I remember just standing there being like, you guys aren't gonna close anytime soon, right? Like please. And the girl was very nice. She was like reassuring me. She's like, you're all good, like just wait for your friend, it's gonna be fine, you're chill. But I was not chill, let me tell you, I was really not chill. But fast forward, Sabrina makes it there, we check in, our names are on the guest list, we make it into the premiere. I'm so excited to be here, and at this point, like again, we had already been running late. I think the premiere started at, I think it started at 6 or 7, but whatever time it started at, we were like an hour late, so we already missed everything. I was like, you know what, I don't actually really care to watch this movie right now. Like obviously I wanted to see the movie, but like I said, I already had tickets to go see the movie a couple of days after because I had bought this before. Obviously I knew I was going to be invited to the premiere, and so I was like, this is a once in a lifetime thing, like let's just soak this up, let's walk around. I mean, they shut down the whole Grove. It was so cool. There was the red carpet everywhere, there was Taylor blasting all night long, there were Taylor posters here, there were photo ops here. I was like, let's just be in the moment, you know what I mean? Like again, this is like a once in a lifetime thing, we can watch the movie later. I had fully thought at this point that they were already like actively showing the movie by the time we got there, so I was like, we're already missing it. Again, I'm gonna see the movie later, like let's just, you know, let's relish in the moment. I mean, we got these wonderful tickets, very, very cute, had our row in the seat that we were in. This is something that I like, this is such a prized possession to me because the things I went through to get this, like you have no idea. But this is very cute, I do have to say. It says Taylor Swift and AMC theaters are enchanted to welcome you. That's what it says. Very, very cute. And then you open it up and here is my film premiere ticket. Super cute. I want to like frame this or something or do something with this. It's been a couple years, obviously I still haven't done anything. All in all, it was still an incredible night. Like we actually were not late, first of all, to the showing, so we were able to watch the movie in full. Like I said, we got there, we were just taking our time, we were taking pictures. The whole Grove was Taylor Swift. Like it was it was a dream, let me tell you. The popcorn came in these very cute Aerosport tin buckets that I was like, oh my god, this is the best day of my life. We get inside, there's like a photo, like there's so much going on. It genuinely like was super cool. And although this whole night is very bittersweet for me because I almost got kidnapped, but it's also very bittersweet because at this point I didn't even know yet that before the premiere Taylor was She was in fact outside meeting a bunch of fans and taking pictures with people. This is something that like keeps me up at night because I'm gonna be honest, I kind of have really accepted the fact that I don't think I will ever meet Taylor, just because like it's Taylor Swift, you know what I mean? Like she's not a celebrity that you can just meet walking down the street of LA. That's never gonna happen. Like she's just too famous for that. It's like if you want to meet the president, like that's literally not gonna happen. I don't want to meet the president. The president. But it's like on that same type of level where I've just kind of, at least right now in my life, I'm like, you know what, I don't think I'm ever gonna meet her, and that's okay. But the fact that I like could have met her if I, again, honestly, even if I wasn't kidnapped or even if I had made my train, like it wasn't going to work out, I wouldn't have met her anyway. You best believe though, I'm still gonna title this video that I would have met her had I not been kidnapped. The only way that I could have met her is if me and Sabrina literally left like 3-4 hours earlier. So again, it really was not gonna happen. Even if I didn't almost get kidnapped, even if all this nonsense didn't happen, that part does make me feel a little bit better, because if we had missed it by like a couple of minutes or like 30 minutes even, I would turn into the Joker, like actually. Now, is it still very painful and bittersweet for me that I could have met her even if I did leave those couple of hours earlier? Well, yes, it's something that keeps me up actually every night almost. I think about this all of the time. Actually, I try not to think about it because the more I think about it, it really makes me sad, because honestly, that did feel like a once in a lifetime thing, where obviously the whole premiere was a once in a lifetime thing, but when it comes to meeting Taylor, I'm like, that was like my one chance. You know, it's totally fine. I've accepted it at this point. I will never meet her, and that's okay. But all in all, it was still such an incredible night, and even though I didn't get to meet her, I was still pleasantly surprised, because right before they started to show the movie in the theater, the girl walked in. The girl walked in. Taylor Allison Swift and Tree Payne walked in. I was like literally 10 feet away from her. She was so close to me. And again, even though I didn't get to meet her, like this was the second best thing. I was like, you know what? All is good. And obviously like I'm not complaining even though I didn't get to meet her. I was so grateful to be invited. Spotify, hey, if you're doing anything like this in the future, I would love to be there. It was such an amazing night. Like honestly, the whole theater was dancing and singing and screaming. And all in all, I do have to say that I really did have the time of my life fighting dragons with you. Because I fought some dragons to be there, let me tell you. Anyway, that basically is gonna bring us to the end of this story. I kind of felt like Tana Mojo telling the story. I like never do story time, so this was kind of fun for me. Anyway, I'll let you guys go, but thank you guys so much for watching. Again, if you like videos like this, then I definitely strongly encourage you to check out my second channel. I think you'll like all the content over there if you, I don't know, happen to enjoy just hearing me sit and talk about things. Check out the Patreon if you're interested. Follow me on Instagram, and I will see you guys very, very soon. Very, very soon actually, because it's about to be showgirl season. The fact that we're getting a new Taylor Swift album in, I don't know when this video is going up, but probably in like a week and a half. I'm not ready. Okay, I'll let you guys go. Love you, bye.